morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode, still under the curses. And today we are going to look at the manifestation of curses. How do curses manifest? Over the years and centuries, we have noticed that most people don't really understand how curses do manifest. By so saying, I mean, how can someone pronounce a word and then the word is seen being manifested in the lives of those people to whom those words were pronounced against? And so we don't really see how the word came into manifestation, how what was said really came into existence, how it started working. That is why we are going to look at how do curses manifest. Today we want to clear curses manifest, but it is in a mystery. The manifestation of a curse is mysterious and cannot be explained. It can be explained. As a matter of fact, it can be explained. And that is why we are going to discuss this topic, explaining how curses manifest. So we are going to be taking our reading from the book of First Kings, and we shall be reading from the verse number 22. Yes, verse number 22. I would like to take chapter number 22. I would like to take from verse number 12 until we get to the part where we are in need of. So First Kings chapter number 22, the verse number 12. Today's topic is demystifying the manifestation of curses. Demystifying the manifestation of curses. For a curse to manifest shouldn't be a mystery. As a matter of fact, everybody should stand up or get up and be able to explain how words that are spoken against a particular person for reason of an offense being committed or for reason of an offense not being committed do come to pass. How does it work? So much so that we see the manifestation of these words in the lives of the people to whom the curses were pronounced against. And so we are going to read from First Kings chapter number 22. I would like to read from the verse number 12, right? The verse number 12. So let me quickly go in there and let's read. So I read. And all the prophets prophesied so, saying, Go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the king's hand. Verse number 13. And the messenger that was gone to call Micaiah spake unto him, saying, Behold now, the words of the prophet declared good unto the king with one mouth. Let thy word, I pray thee, be like the word of one of them, and speak that which is good. Verse number 14. And Micaiah said, As the Lord liveth, what the Lord saith unto me, that I will speak. Verse number 15. So he came to the king, and the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall we forbear? And he answered him, Go and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver thee, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. Verse number 16. And the king said unto him, How many times shall I adjure thee, that thou tell me nothing but that which is true in the name of the Lord? Verse number 17. And he said, I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills, as sheep that have not a shepherd. And the Lord said, These have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace. The verse number 18. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell thee that he would prophesy no good concerning me? but evil. Verse number 19. You will discuss more on the verse number 19. And he said, that is the prophet Micaiah, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. Let me repeat the verse number 19 because this is the main topic for discussion. And he said, that is the prophet Micaiah, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. The verse number 20. You will come back to the verse number 19. The verse number 20. And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one on manna, and another said on that manner. Verse number 21. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I would persuade him. Verse number 22. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lion spirit in the mouth of his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Back to the verse number 19. And the prophet Micaiah said, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, God of mercy. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and I saw all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and his left. So we are looking at demystifying manifestation of a curse. It is no mystery how a curse do work. Let us dive deeper into our topic and see how no mystery is involved in the manifestation of a curse. So this is how it works. In the realms of the spirit, in the kingdom of spirit, before a decision is taken, a meeting is held. So in the verse number 19 of First Kings chapter number 22, or we read that there was a meeting to discuss how a man, a king, how someone God wants dead will be killed. A meeting was held. The meeting involved number one, the king, who is the Lord who sat on his throne. Then those who were present at the meetings, the Bible describes the hosts of the heaven. The host of the heaven. And said the Bible said, and all the hosts of the heaven standing by him. So the hosts of the heaven, all of them, who are the hosts of the heaven? The heaven comes in different parts. But I'm not here to talk about that today. We will pick a day where we will discuss the heavens. How many heavens do we have? We will read from the book of Enoch and we will discuss into detail the levels of heaven which we have. And then we will come back to the book of Ezekiel where we will look at the levels and then the kinds of heavens that we have. But today we want to limit ourselves to demystifying the manifestation of curses. So there was a meeting was held, and the king was present, and his elders, his chiefs, were also present. Those who are in charge of controlling territories were present. Those who have been given the legal right, the spiritual legitimacy to rule over territories, heavens, were present at the meeting. Why? Because the death of a man must be discussed. The death of a man must be discussed. But who pronounced and who cried against that man, the king Ahab? So much so that his death must be discussed. Elijah the prophet did pray against Ahab and against his wife Jezebel. Do you remember the words of the prophet at the time when Jezebel was killed? So there was a prayer said, there was a curse laid upon Ahab by means of prayer. So prayers were said against this man that his life be taken from him. And now, before his life would be taken from him, there must be a meeting. And that is what we saw in the book of First Kings, chapter number 22, from the verse number 12. And the meeting was seen being held from the verse number 19. So the meeting was held, and the king who summoned all the elders into a meeting had to come out with his agenda. And his agenda was that simple. There was no ambiguity in his agenda. Who shall go and make sure that Ahab fall at the place, at the city where Ahab was going into battle, Ramoth Gilead? Who shall make sure that Ahab does not return alive? That was the king's agenda for calling for the meeting. So a meeting is being called in the heavenlies. A meeting is being held in the spiritual kingdom. And all that the meeting was about was how to kill a man. Oh, glory be to God. The death of the man had become a necessity. The death of the man had become so urgent that it needed a meeting to be held. Why? Because there were people who prayed for that. Oh my God. And so, anytime there is a pronunciation, anytime words emit from the mouth of those pronouncing them, there is a discussion, there is a meeting that is held in the realms of the spirit. Meetings are held in the realms of the spirit. The host of the territories, they do sit. But someone will say, okay, fine, I'm a Christian. And then Jesus said, those that are in him, all things have passed away, and behold, all things have become new. Yes, I do understand. Even though your understanding of that particular scripture must be enlightened again. But I do really understand when Jesus said that, because I know exactly what he was referring to. Let me shock you a little that in the book of Job, when all the sons of God decided to present themselves to God, there was one who was also seen among them. And as a matter of fact, there was a question to that particular man. What have you also come here to do? That is what we assume to be Satan. Satan, I am seeing you among my sons who are to present themselves before me. What have you also come here to do? And in the book of Job, we also saw a meeting being held, also discussing the pain, discussing the torture, discussing how a righteous man should be tortured, should be allowed to suffer. And the meeting was held. So anytime, why was the meeting held in the first place? Because Satan had always said, if not because of the protection, the hedge you have built around Job, I would by now have destroyed Job. So the God had to give Satan, the liberty, the freedom to cast his lot against Job. So we have seen series of meetings being held in the realms of the spirit before a curse will work because someone has pronounced it. The spirit invoked during the pronunciation of the curse hold the matter, summons a meeting involving all the rulers and the host of that particular territory. Rulers as in the spirit in charge of the family, the clan, the tribe of the person to whom the curse has been pronounced must be summoned unto a meeting. Also, when they are summoned into a meeting, the matter is brought forth for discussion. The one who pronounced the curse, his words are brought forth for discussion. And because his words are brought forth for discussion, what happens is that a discussion is held on how to treat the matter, whether to let it slide or not to let it slide. The meeting is held to discuss which verdict must be pronounced, which punishment must be emitted against the one who has committed or unto the one to whom the curse has been pronounced. A meeting is held. Spiritual meetings are held. Before a curse will work, a spiritual meeting, a sermon must be held. But in your previous video, you said a person with a higher authority who can create or uncreate, who can do or undo, doesn't necessarily have to make or summon a meeting before a curse will come to pass. It is true. Sometimes, if the person is a principality, like God, who is a king and a ruler over all the heavens, he could have done it without the intervention, without the involvement, without the inclusion of all the hosts of heaven who were called to be part of the meeting, as we read from the book of First Kings, chapter number 22, the verse number 19. It could have been done that way. But for it to be fairly treated, because he is a just God, unlike other principalities who would take the laws into their hands and do what they want because they possess the power. It is not every principality who is just, but God called for a meeting because he is just. So we are speaking on the note that if all things are equal, before a curse that has been pronounced will manifest, there should be a meeting between principalities, a meeting between spirits, a meeting that has to do with the co-host of the heavens. This is what we are talking about. And when the meeting is being held, a discussion of the matter is allowed to process. They process the case, see where the fault is, and then agree to emit the necessary punishment against the person. In the book of Genesis, chapter number 18, the verse number 15 downward, when we are reading, we saw the angels of God appearing to Abraham, and on their way to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, they said something. He said, since Abraham shall become a great nation and all nations shall be blessed in him, are we going to do something without getting Abraham involved? Should we do something without getting Abraham involved? So let me read the verse number 17. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham that which I do? And now when you read down the line, you read the other verses, subsequent verses, you get to know that a meeting was held and Abraham was trying hard to defend Sodom and Gomorrah from being destroyed. If on earth, a meeting was held where Abraham said, what if you find about 50 righteous people, 60 righteous people? Then he came down to the line and 5 righteous men. Will you destroy the whole nation even when there are 5 who are righteous? And the Lord said, no. So you see, a whole nation is about to be destroyed. And yet, a discussion must be held. Abraham, you are the one that I am giving the earth to, that all the nations of the earth, the surface of the earth, must be blessed through you. And I'm going to destroy a nation that must be blessed through Abraham. And will I hide it from Abraham? People of God, so demystifying. It is no mystery as to how curses work. A discussion was held, even concerning the nation that is guilty. The same way, when a curse is pronounced, discussions are held whether to punish the culprit or the victim or not to. So when someone issues out a curse against you, the spirit that was invoked to ensure the manifestation of the curse summons a meeting if that spirit is a just spirit. I use the word a just spirit. But if the spirit is not just, he goes direct or she goes direct to inflict or to afflict the victim or to execute judgment. And we see that a curse was pronounced, and when the curse was pronounced, demons held it. We have seen several cases in prophetic ministries where a man pronounces a curse against his own wife, and at the point when the woman was supposed to put to birth, the spirit that were invoked when the curse was being pronounced, those spirits held the words of the man as and when the man was pronouncing the curse. And then they were using those words against the woman, tying the child and allowing not the child to come from the womb of the woman. And this was a manifestation of a curse that was pronounced by a husband against a wife when a spirit from the marine kingdom was invoked. This was it. So when the curse was pronounced, the marine kingdom held the words. And when they held the words, what happened? They used the words of the husband against the woman at the point of birth. When the woman must put to birth, the spirit wanted to take the life of the woman and then the child at the point of birth. And if not because of the intervention of prophets and prayers, by now the woman wouldn't be alive, neither the child. But to the glory of God, the woman and the child, they are both alive today. So you see, the meeting that is held, your soul must be present in the meeting. But when your soul is not present, it means that your soul is, number one, may be, let me put it this way, your soul may be weak. And so as and when the meeting is being held, you did not see it in a dream, nor know it while you are not even asleep. But a person must represent you, a spirit must represent you in the meeting. So if the spirit of the person represents you in the meeting is able to defend you, so much so that when the verdict is pronounced, you were not guilty, then the curse will not manifest. So the reason for which we see the manifestation of curses to be mysterious is because when the meeting discussing whether the curse should be executed or not be executed, in those meetings, because we have weak spirit and weak souls, we are not able to present ourselves even when our souls are called upon. Sometimes some people do have dreams, and they are told that some people have reported those who had the dream to them. And then the meeting is they find themselves within a meeting where they are called, they are summoned into the meeting. I know of so many people who, the seers, those who have strong spirit, where their souls are called into a meeting, and then they are being told that they have been reported. And before any action is taken against them, they must hold a meeting. And that is why they have caught the person. So if they are able to see it, such people, they are able to see it, represent themselves in the meeting. They are able to see it, represent themselves in the meeting. And so in the meeting, if you are able to represent yourself when you are summoned, some people's souls and spirit are so weak that even if they are called or summoned, they are unable to represent themselves. And that is what happens to most people. That is what happens to most people, people of God. If you are able to partake in the meeting that was held to discuss whether a curse to manifest against you or not, then the manifestation of a curse is not mysterious, but it becomes mysterious because you were not able to represent yourself. So if you are fortunate to have a man who is spiritually inclined to represent you, or God sends the spirit of the man to represent you in a meeting, and then the man could hear every discussion and also partake in the discussion, that is when, even though it remains a mystery to you, but to the one who represented you, it is no mystery. So manifestation of curses are not mysterious. They become mysterious only when we are not able to partake in the meeting that was held when the curse, when the meeting was summoned because a curse has been emitted. So if we all can train ourselves to the level where our spirit becomes energized, so that whenever spiritual matters and meetings are being held against us, we can represent ourselves, we can participate, we can also speak, then nothing mysterious will ever be a mystery. Nothing mysterious will ever be a mystery to us anymore. So on this episode, we are saying that manifestations of curses are not mysterious as we see it to be. When the curse is pronounced, meetings are held. If we are able to represent ourselves in the meeting, so be it. If Ahab could represent himself in the meeting, I am quite sure that Ahab could have pleaded for mercy. He could have pleaded for mercy. But Ahab was not able to plead for mercy because he could not represent himself, and he could not get anyone who is spiritually inclined to represent him when the meeting was being held. That is how come, oh God of heaven, that is how come he was eventually killed. Because
0205 995 819, 0205 995 819, or 0578 373 149. We say long life because 70 years, according to the Bible, is quite long. Reach out to us and we will give you the best of service. Thank you.